Welcome to 30 Days of Marketing Mavens. 30 days, 30 experts, 30 marketing niches. Brought to you by Profit Master Business Solutions. More leads, more sales, and more revenue for your small or medium-sized business. Click findnewrevenue.com to learn more. Now here's your host, Howard Walpoff.
Welcome back to 30 Days of Marketing Mavens. Again, I'm Howard Walpoff. It's brought to you by Profit Master Business Solutions. And so excited that you're here with us again and learning even more about marketing. Today, we're kind of looking at marketing and specifically social media as a whole. And we're fortunate to have Jennifer Gardella with us to go over what she does with companies and how to really direct them in the right directions for how they manage and maintain their social media. So Jennifer, welcome to the conversation today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I always love to share my expertise with people and get them out of digital overwhelm. It's sort of a goal of mine.
And that world of digital overwhelm can be very just claustrophobic and scary, and it's good
real.
to have your hand to pull them out of that mess.
Right.
So why don't you share with us a little bit of how you got involved initially with social media?
It's a really interesting story. So like so many of my clients and probably a lot of people listening to this today, I grew up with the phone attached to the kitchen wall. We had a Mac computer in my house at some point during high school, but my friends and I went to college with typewriters. And as the world of social media came about, it was pretty exciting. You know, everyone got a Facebook account because all of our kids had heard about Facebook. And so all the parents followed them to Facebook. And then before we knew it, companies were starting to build Facebook pages. And then they were starting to do other things out there in the world. And as I followed my children around, whether it be to Twitter or Instagram, I always kept in mind that so many business owners didn't really know what they were doing. And the reason why I know that is because when I was finishing up my PhD at Rutgers University, interestingly enough, in psychology and statistics, two areas, I was supposed to go and light the world of educational research on fire. I was never even knew that this was a possibility for me to hang a shingle and run a business. I was dating a divorce attorney in central New Jersey. If you know anything about internet marketing, you know that attorneys are usually one of the most competitive demographics for any market on the internet.
Very true.
So, he was a divorce attorney. We were dating, and this was right around the middle of 2011. And all of a sudden, he had $1 million law firm one night, and then the next day, the phone stopped ringing. And it was a Panic at the Disco kind of moment because it was, where did all the clients go, or the potential clients? Mm-hmm. And what it was the first time way back then that Google had put forth a major algorithm change known as Penguin and Panda. Yep. At that and this divorce attorney started getting a tremendous number of emails, Twitter for attorneys, redo your website, blogging for attorneys. What's it like to, put out an email newsletter? And he was like, how do you do this? How do you run a law firm and do all of this marketing when you're at his size? Because he had 3 to 5 associates, a couple of staff members, and he was completely overwhelmed, which is so much of the problem of what's going on today. We expect small business owners to be experts in what they do, and then they're expected to jump through all these digital hoops as well. It's a nightmare. So he, of course, like any good attorney, was printing all of this stuff out and wound up with, a 4-foot pile of paper, because that's what they do, right? Mm-hmm. Attorneys have to have the proof problem. And he kind of gave them to me, and he said, well, you're getting a PhD. You're really good at research. I was thrilled with the idea, as was my ex-husband at the time of me working. And what wound up happening is, as I synthesized all that information and did all my research, I kind of backed myself up into a job, which was a nightmare because, remember, we were dating at the time. So I definitely never recommend that. I actually, though, what I didn't realize what was going on is I was working and learning from the ones that were doing all of the research for me. So as I started to interview he had an HTML website that he had put up himself with HTML for Dummies. I mean, it was really an interesting time. And so I, was talking then with FindLaw, with Justia, Foster Web Marketing. And these salespeople at that time were willing to tell you everything you needed to know because they were so excited that they were figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
So as I started to, expand our list and figure out what was supposed to be happening, I rewrote the website, redesigned the website, started blogging 4 times a week, and put out a very strategic social media campaign for us, well, for the firm. And before we knew it, within a couple of months, like 3 months, we owned the front page of Google again.
Very nice.
So super, right? And then the relationship ended. And I didn't have a job. And I also was finishing up my degree, meaning I defended that. So the job and the relationship ended in January. I defended my dissertation in April. And I realized at that time that I had a skill set that other small business owners desperately needed. And so I literally hung a shingle as a social media consultant to help people, which is a pretty neat way to start a business, something that I never even thought was possible. I started a service called Your Social Media Hour, which is not up right now. It's making a comeback in 2020 at some point. Kind of heard some crickets, did a lot of networking, and it was really funny when I was describing the service of getting an email of what to do every day, which was Your Social Media Hour. An attorney in the back of the room said, "Hey, wait a minute. You're the one that did it for that guy? I want you to do my social media." And this is before you could have your social media done. Like, there wasn't a lot of companies that were doing this. So I literally backed into a position and an idea for a company that has gone gangbusters in other people kind of rolling forward and doing the same thing I do.
That really is quite a story and quite an educational opportunity for to really work through the beginnings of, as all those pieces were changing, especially with Google being polite enough to change it for everybody in the process.
Right. Yeah. So, you learn about keywords and blogging and an editorial calendar and what you're putting up on your LinkedIn page. And, what it really takes to be successful out there in the digital marketing world is it takes this idea of continually keeping on top of the basics. If you glob onto the trends, you're going to die a slow death of tech. So I really do promote in my practice now, and what I do with my clients is we develop and build a very solid foundation.
And that's very important because again, that's the structure. That is the game plan. And there are some fun trends that come in and out that you can have a good time with. But as they go back and forth, you have to make sure that you are still moving forward with a routine and a schedule and a concept and a color background, and that right. This is your story that you continue to tell no matter what you throw into the mix.
Right. And, so many of my clients will come to me at first, or when I do a lot of public speaking, and they'll say, "Hey, I want to have, a Snapchat advertising campaign." And I'm like, okay, but you don't have a LinkedIn account. It's those core fundamental pieces of digital marketing. It's that core message. It's the call to action. What's your unique selling proposition? What makes you you? And what's your story that really is the first line of defense in building a digital marketing campaign to really help build your business?
And that's what people are looking for. It's that story. It's how you are as a company relatable to them, how they see you being a part of their life. And if that really doesn't mesh, then they're going to move on and look at what other people are doing.
Yeah, and I can tell you that, as interesting as my story is, as me getting started in the world of digital marketing, my story has actually built to something quite crazy in the last few years, which has led to a TED Talk, which has also led to clients realizing that they can trust me in a very different way. And so I'll just quickly share, and this is for anyone viewing. If you don't have, we met through a ClickFunnels group, right? And what's one of the top things that Russell Brunson always says is have your list of stories. And one of, unfortunately, our stories is that a few years ago, we lost my ex-husband to a very aggressive cancer. We have 3 kids. We were very, very good friends, had an incredibly peaceful divorce. And that led to a TED Talk, which has nothing to, which I did at Fordham, by the way, which was very exciting.
Very nice.
Fordham alums, right? I was like, oh, I get to go back to campus. But my point in this is there are some clients that have come into my consultancy as a client because they watched my TED Talk and they noticed 2 things. One, they could really trust me as a person. And number two, I was actually a real authentic deal. And so your story, to get your story out there, whatever led you to your career, whatever led you to build your business, any pieces that built you as to who you are right now as a small business owner, get out there and tell it. Because not only can you help someone with the connection, but it builds your know, like, and trust in a way that you can't do just by talking about the nuts and bolts of your business.
It's really about being you and being personable and being relatable, and that's what people want. It's not
right.
It's not just the name of the company. It's in the end, it's who they're going to be working with, and integrity and that connection really plays that strong role in making sure that this is that type of business you want to be doing.
Right. And, it's funny, when I first started and I would tell the story of how I was dating and then working for a boyfriend, right? People were like, oh, you can't tell that. That was a huge mistake you made. I'm like, oh, God. People not only need to hear that Dr. Jen can make mistakes, but that I actually sit in gratitude for all that he brought to my life. Good thing the relationship ended, of course. It was for the best. But that you can rebound and build a life out of something, that even if it is a hot mess when you're going through it or in it or after it.
It's very, very valuable words to live by. So let me bring it back to the question I'm asking everyone. What would be the number one strategy that you're using for your clients and for yourself within social media these days?
That is a great question, because there is so much information out there that I see on social media. Do all your social media for the next 5 years in 30 seconds. And I'm like, that just can't happen. But what I am a huge proponent of, what we do for our clients and what I do for my own marketing, is something called batching. BATCHING. I'm actually in the process of developing a program around the concept of batching for small business owners who are do-it-yourselfers. That's, one of my great ideas coming in the future.
Okay.
But it's the process of looking very planfully over the course of a year, a quarter, and a month, and deciding, okay, what blogs am I going to have written from now until the end of 2020? And then not only what blogs, but what themes are there out there that I can capitalize on? What ideas, what holidays, what are the trends in my business, the flow, so that you have some idea of what's going to be happening. You then write a majority of your content at least a month ahead. Now, for a lot of people, this drives them crazy. Like, oh my gosh, I have to write 4 blog posts for March. It's, February 4th. But it's better than trying to write 1 blog post for the first week of March on the first day of March. Mm-hmm. And then following Monday, what do? You sit down at your white screen again and suddenly you have to pump out a blog. Or, hey, I need to post something on, LinkedIn today. And you hear crickets in your head. Well, you don't know if it's National Oatmeal Day. You don't know if, it's the spring equinox. You don't know if, George Washington's birthday, like whatever. If there's something else that you can capitalize on in that market, in that way, for your social media. And so what I do is I actually start out, like right now, it's the first week of February. So we're planning all of our March content. Our February content is completely done. So I have my 4 blog posts I'll just talk generally in my terms, for jennifergardella.com. I also have 4 blog posts for Medium, which is a new hot site that's great for SEO, and for My Steps in Time, which is my personal blog. And I have 29 days. There's 29 days in February. I have 29 days of social media posts, and I have 4 podcasts ready to go. Now, you have to, in this system, not get overwhelmed in, I have to do what Jen does, right? Because I'm crazy. I am a complete hyperactive type A overthinker who's going to cover all my bases on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. The average small business owner, heck, if you get 2 blog posts out, that's like huge. And that is something to be applauded for a lot of people. And so this concept of batching and looking planfully, doing your keyword research, why are your competitors beating you to the punch? And then making sure that your blog and social media presence cover all those bases so that you look just as important as the rest of them do. That's really the name of the game.
And it really is, it can be overwhelming, the concept, but also can be very calming that you have everything set, and also you have that flexibility if something comes up, if someone wants to post something related to their business, that you're an accountant and you know how to count and get things very well in connection with making light of the fact they couldn't count the ballots in Iowa last night. You can put those into your plan without changing the plan.
You have to leave room for the magic. And I think one of the best examples I just saw of this is all the controversy with the halftime show at the Super Bowl this year with J-Lo and Shakira. And two of my very good friends happened to be just starting out on a women's resilience speaking tour. And so they've been superimposing their heads and doing all the, you don't need to do it, you don't need to shake it you just need to come and we can teach you how to get, build strength as well. And I was like, wow, exactly. You have to leave room for the magic of life.
Yes, sometimes things just fall in your hands like that and you have to run with it.
Right. And I do that. And, for the average small business owner also, like everybody wants an Instagram presence. And your Instagram presence is actually a great way to play with those kind of moments. You can have stories and posts that are not as professional as we want you to put out there in other places. And since it's so picture driven, it really does lend itself well to what's going on in the world.
And that's totally true. Instagram is such a great tool, and there's a lot of strategic ways to use it, but also very some lighthearted and less pressured ways to use it. And you have to use all the opportunities to your advantage as a small business.
Right.
Well, this is really just, your story is fantastic. And I love the path that starting from Fordham University led you to all this greatness in social media. And I thank you so much for joining us and sharing this with everybody.
Well, thanks so much. And if you or your listeners have any questions, you guys know where to find me.
All right, we'll have some information listed below. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us. And everyone, thank you again. 30 days of Marketing Mavens. I'm so glad that you're enjoying this, and look forward to sharing more with you again tomorrow. And go out and have a great day today. Thank you.
Thanks.